Hi everyone. Today we have a special treat. Inovelli just sent over their 2018 lineup of Z-Wave Plus switches. Today we're going to dig into their outdoor plug-in modules, indoor plug-in modules, and in-wall switches. And as is always the case with Inovelli, there's a few new cool surprises to be found in their smart home gear. So stay tuned. Hi again, John Stone, the DIY smart home guy on the channel that's all about providing tips, tricks, and reviews for your affordable smart home. Smart switches and plug-in modules are an essential part of the smart home, which explains why I've done so many darn videos on them. About a year ago I did a video on the first generation Inovelli smart plug-in module, and I featured it in a few other videos including my recent smart plug roundup. The Inovelli plug was the first module that I'd seen that had two controllable outlets, which is pretty cool. Well, it's been a year, and Inovelli was kind enough to send over their full lineup of smart switches. I mean, check this out. They sent a single and a dual channel outdoor plug-in module, a single and a dual channel indoor plug-in module, an in-wall dimmer switch, and an in-wall on-off switch. Which brings me to a very important point. This video is not a paid endorsement, and I receive no compensation for making this video. All product links in the description below are affiliate links, and I may receive commissions if you purchase products from these links. Some products shown in the video were provided to me for free from the manufacturer. However, this video should not be considered an endorsement of any of these products. Now that the legal stuff is out of the way, let's take a look at these sexy beasts. So Inovelli provides this nice single channel and this nice dual channel plug-in module. These are outdoor rated IP65. IP65 meaning that they can be outdoors and essentially weatherproof. Now they have these nice little plug covers here on the back side. Let's see if we can get a good view there. So you can get into there, you can plug these off, and when you're not using them, you can cover them up so the water doesn't get in there. So this one here, you can have one controllable outlet and one that's not controllable. This model right here gives you two controllable outlets. And if you're thinking this looks a little bit big, let's put that next to that GE. So you can see that this is a fair bit bigger than that GE, but this GE switch right here is only a single channel. Again, it has that nice weatherproof covering on it, but this is a pretty cool module here, especially for the fact that you plug this in, it's got the nice elbow connector, so it's a low profile, but you get the two outlets out of the Inovelli module. Now a little later in the video we'll connect these into a VeraSecure controller, a Wink Hub 2, and a SmartThings hub, each using the auto inclusion mode, which is super cool. I'll be going over the other attributes of the products that make these little gems stand out from the crowd. And to see more videos like these, now's a good time to subscribe. You'll also want to spank that bell icon to be notified when new videos are released or if I stream a live broadcast. Next on the list are the indoor plug-in modules. As I mentioned, Inovelli makes a single channel and a dual channel, meaning that both outlets are controllable. So as I said, there's your first generation module right here. These second generation modules don't look too different other than the fact that they don't have any of the printing on the front. All of the markings, basically all the information about the plug is going to be on the back, and these are fully branded as the Inovelli module. They are Z-Wave Plus. Now flipping them over on the side, same as you did with your outdoor modules there, the smart outlet on the single channel is marked. You have an always on outlet and the single channel there, and there'll be no markings on the dual channel. So again, the footprint of these things is identical to their Gen 1, and according to the manufacturer of these, the only real difference is internal. There's upgraded electronics, there's upgraded firmware, and there's more capabilities that you have in these next generation Z-Wave Plus. There's capabilities you will not get out of this first generation plug-in module. Now one thing that I really like about the Inovelli products is that they always give you the two outlets. This means every time you plug one in, you gain an outlet. What's not to like about that? Especially when you consider that on my front porch alone I have 4 GE outlet plug-in modules controlling various lighting effects and fountains. With the Inovelli plug, I can reduce my outdoor home automation gear to just 2 plugs. Another thing I like about the Inovelli brand is their attention to detail. Inside every box, you're going to see this QR code right inside the lid. You scan this QR code and it's going to take you right to their website for the setup instructions for this particular switch. I know, right? In fact, they repeat this process on the included instruction manual just in case you're blind as a bat like me and can't read the tiny 2-point font. The font in the instruction booklet really isn't that small, so I guess you could just be fine with this. Okay, let's take a quick look at the in-wall switches, and then we'll get these plug-in modules set up into the hubs. I'll be installing these Inovelli in-wall switches in a future video. Okay, so on the two Inovelli switches here, we've got a paddle dimmer. I guess that's a paddle dimmer. We've got an on-off switch here. So these are going to look pretty similar to the GE switches. You get them turned over on the side there. The shape is just a little bit different, the way they're rounded off there. But again, you've got the same brass and silver terminals. And the way these things go in here is pretty much the same. You've got a traveler wire if you're going to be hooking that into the three-way installation, your line and your neutral, and your load. So these are pretty cool. These have that same clamping style as the GE and the Zeus, and they have that nice way that you can connect in that ground up there by just sliding into that hole. But again, there is advanced capability with these Inovelli switches, meaning that you can do scene control off of taps as long as you're in the right hub, and we're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. The other thing I want to point out is inside the box on these in-wall switches is you do have the 4 barcodes up here for each type of the hub, so you can just scan those QR codes. And then inside the box here, you do have the white pigtail jumper. They actually give you some extra screws here for the wall plates, which I haven't actually seen before. And they even include the new wall plates just in case you need an extra wall plate. Well, I've not seen anybody do this in a box before, and that's back to what I was talking about. The attention to detail that Inovelli has in their packaging, I think, is second to none out there. So if you're looking for how to install the Inovelli in a 3-way switch configuration, there's a link to the video where I installed the Zeus 3-way switch in the description below. It's important to note that the Inovelli installs like a Zeus and not like a GE. This means you can use a normal mechanical 3-way switch as your add-on, and you don't need the smart add-on switch. Alright, let's get these plugs set up in the hubs. I'm going to do one in the Wink, one in the VeraSecure, and one in the SmartThings hub. I'm going to do the SmartThings last, and I'll be talking about some advanced features that you can do with SmartThings and the Inovelli switches, like scene control straight from the switch. Okay, so let's get the Inovelli single channel into the Wink hub. Now, one thing that's important to point out is this has an auto inclusion feature, which means you're going to want your Wink hub into inclusion mode before you plug this module in. Now, what's going to happen if you plug this in too soon? There is a timeout. It's like 30 or 50 seconds or something. So if you don't get that hub into inclusion mode in time, and then you get this plugged in other words, you do this first, this probably isn't going to pair. There is a manual way to pair it by clicking that button 3 to 5 times within 1 second, but the auto inclusion is a pretty cool feature, so you should try that out. Let's get this thing in here. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to get that hub, and these UIs change all the time, so this has actually changed since the last time I did it. We're going to go over here into lighting, come down here to switches, and we're going to put in a generic Z-Wave switch and hit that connect now button. Now we're looking for the hub. Hub is ready, and let's get this, and we're going to get that in there right there. Alright, and we got the success, and we can go find this. Now we've got that light back there, you can see, and here is our new light switch, and we're turning that on and off. And again, this lag that you're seeing here, this is because of my hub. This is not an Inovelli issue, and again, I'll talk about that in a little bit. I have a ton of devices in my Wink hub, and according to Wink, these things just slow down after you get above 50. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to get this dual channel here installed into the Vera, and we're going to show you a couple new things about this VeraSecure. The folks over at Vera were kind enough to send over this VeraSecure for me to start testing out, and we're going to be doing a couple more videos about this also in the future, so stay tuned for those. Remember that bell icon. Okay, so before we plug that thing in, we are going to come over here to our devices, and we're going to hit that little plus symbol there and go down to other Z-Wave devices and do our next, and now we see that countdown timer down there at the bottom of the screen. Let's go ahead and plug this thing in. That thing came right in super quick. You see how fast that comes in. So, okay, so it came in as an unknown device, and then it took it just a little bit for the hub to start talking to that Inovelli switch. So if we look down here, what you're going to see is you've got the appliance module, then you've got appliance module 1 and appliance module 2. Now the way this Inovelli works, as I showed in that original video that we did about a year ago, is there's actually the 2 controls, and then you have a third switch that you can set up to do kind of a master control. This Vera hub is very fast. See how fast that light is coming off and on. I do not see performance like this typically out of a smart switch unless you're using the Wi-Fi switches. This is about as fast as I've ever seen it. That is near real time. It's like I'm hitting a manual light switch, which is amazing to me. Now that is a combination of that Z-Wave Plus, but you saw the speed that I had out of that Wink hub. We're going to get this in another switch into the SmartThings as well and see how that performs. So one more thing I want to do while we still have this VeraSecure open up is let's take this over to the website. So you actually do have a PC interface. It's right through a website. Now this is giving you, as long as you're inside your local network, direct control into your VeraSecure there. So we've got the devices. Come down here. Here's that Inovelli. Now let's go back. I'm going to be flipping this switch on the website here. And again, just wanted to show that that is lightning fast, even through the PC interface. So as you can tell, so far, early days, VeraSecure, pretty stoked, and we'll go into some more details about this in a different video, but I'm liking. Okay, so I unpaired that single channel from that Wink hub, and now we're going to put this into the SmartThings hub. I think it's great to get a one-on-one comparison of how they work there. So we are over in the SmartThings hub right now, and we are going to hit that plus sign, and it's already looking for devices. So let's get that plugged in and watch what happens there. Device found. So very quick. Again, the auto inclusion is pretty cool, and actually I really like the way this works on this SmartThings app, because as soon as you hit that plus, it automatically is looking for anything that has auto inclusion. So now that we got that there, let's do that same test, and let's try that on-off test. And that is super fast also. So SmartThings and that VeraSecure, I would say this is a little laggy. So it's pretty quick. You can see it's just a hair slower than it is on that VeraSecure again. Okay, so for this next part, what this is going to allow us to do is it's going to allow us to use those push buttons on these indoor plug-in modules. It'll also do the same thing for these in-wall switches, but it's going to give you tapping capability. You're going to be able to tap on that button and control scenes, turn on groups of lights. You're going to be able to do all sorts of things through your SmartThings hub. Now to do this, we're going to need to install a device handler. Now this is going to be a little bit tricky. I'm not going to do this in this video, but what I want to tell you is over here on YouTube, Inovelli has put out a bunch of videos about how to do device handler installation. It's not that hard, but you're going to need to pay close attention to it. I'll also be putting links to the device handlers in my description below, and links to these videos in the description below. For more reviews, tips, and DIY videos, visit azhb.com. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to click like. Over here are a couple of other videos that you might enjoy. And thanks to all of you that already support me over on patreon.com/DIY Smart Home Guy. Until next time, cheers.